Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my garden. My name is Sherry, and this is my garden in Zone 6A, just outside of Boulder, Colorado. It is August, and it is hot. We have been having a stretch of heat like I can't remember having, and along with it, we've been having wildfires in our local foothills that have just been breaking my heart. Just thinking of all the people affected, the creatures, the chemicals that get dropped. I'm a very organic gardener for those of you who may not know me that are maybe new to the channel. So I try to keep things clean as possible, but I know we have to do what we have to do to fight these fires. But that's going on. We've actually, some of the slurry got into the local reservoir and they're dealing with that right now. So lots of things can happen, right, that we don't expect along the way in life, in our gardens. And today I want to talk to you about one of the things that many of us don't like in the garden, but is such a necessity, and that is bugs. Bugs in the garden. There's good bugs, there's bad bugs. Well, some people might say there's good bugs, that they're all good bugs, but I can't agree with that when it comes to grasshoppers, and we'll talk more about grasshoppers here in a few minutes. But I'm coming to you today from my she shed. This is my little she shed that I have outside of the garden here, and just a place where I can have all my knickknacks and things and hats and gloves and just all kinds of things that I keep out here, and gives me great views, which I'll show you here in just a second as we start to take a walk through the garden. But one thing I want to ask you before we start talking about bugs is really stop to take a look at your relationship with bugs. Now, I will tell you early on, I was not a bug lover, and it was something I didn't like about being out in the garden when I first grew my very first garden, and the bugs and the things that could happen. And I used to be one of those people that ran from bees instead of running towards bees, which I do now with much joy in my heart, I will tell you that. And snakes, a little bit, not so much, but if it's a good garter snake, it scares me at first, but then I'm happy to see it because I know that it's helping with the insects, especially the grasshoppers in the garden. So we'll talk about all that as we take a walk through the garden here today. It's a hot one, but I think we can get through it without overheating my phone, which is what I record these videos on. And let's get to it. Let's take a walk through the garden, shall we? So let's head out into the garden, see what it, ooh, a little bird. Little meadowlark has been eating off of the sunflowers right outside of my office here. And one thing I will tell you, I get a lot of wasps, not my favorite, yellow jackets, whatever you want to call them, that are here, but you know, they're part of the whole cycle, aren't they? But they do come out here a lot. All right, so let's walk over to the garden and see who and what is out here. Here's Luna, one of my two dogs who I adore. Hi, Loon. I still have my, if you saw my pansies and violas video I did a couple weeks ago, they're still here, but I am going to clean them up. With these hot temperatures we've been having this week, it's pretty much did them in. So I'm going to try to get back to getting my lettuce in, and I got to get the garlic out. You know, it's walking around the garden looking at the things that are right versus what is wrong is sometimes hard to do, right? This bed I've really been working on. There's a little bee on these guys. Yeah, so this is my shady bed because I have right above me, see if I can put the camera up here, I've got a big ash tree. We're very blessed in our yard and garden to have these. And there's Abby, my other girl. But to have these lovely trees, I just had our tree guy here a little while ago talking about the blessings of these trees and the shade that they provide. But these beds right here in the garden get the most shade of them all. So I tend to have less grasshoppers in here, and but this bed is my vegetable bed, which they have been eating up quite a bit. And it's so funny. I'm thinking now that the camera's on, I probably won't see any grasshoppers, but you can see what they've done to, like, even this. Look at my kale. I mean, they eat it to the nub if I don't keep on them all the time, which of course, this is real life and you can't do it all the time. One of the things with my work as an entrepreneur, as a coach, working with entrepreneurs, is that many times when you're having a small business, you don't get to do everything you want to do all the time, right? The things that come up in your work that are unpleasant, the entrepreneurs that make it, the small business owners that make it, are the ones that push through. And that's really where I'm at when it comes to bugs, is that I have to push through with these grasshoppers and the Japanese beetles. Those are my two biggest nemesis. And as I'm looking through everything, I've put these little protectors over my dahlias just to save them from some of the grasshopper situation. And yeah, I don't see any grasshoppers. Isn't this so funny? This morning I did come through here. Here's my tomatoes and some zinnias that I have growing here. I did come through this morning and do a sweep and got quite a few. Here's my other dahlias getting covered up. They're so beautiful. These are from Floret. See if I can show you that. And hey Lou, what's going on? This is my Grasshopper Catcher right over here. And this is what I use to catch grasshoppers. And I've become a pretty good grasshopper catcher over the years. It's been about 4 years now that we've had them so bad. And like this bed right here, these artichokes, they're just not long for the world because the grasshoppers have really been eating on them. And sometimes there's some, different plants that I'm finding that are more grasshopper proof. They tend to love the zinnias, which are my favorite flower. Look at these guys blooming. And look at, there's a grasshopper right there. So what I'm going to attempt to do is record this and catch a grasshopper at the same time. And I did it. I don't know if you just saw that on the camera, but I use this to catch it. And then I put it into this bucket of soapy water. And this might be more than some people can handle, seeing all these grasshoppers in here, but it's soapy water. And it's just the best way to go about it. And I use a 5-gallon bucket because it's deep. It's got soapy water in it, and they sometimes will try to jump out. Both the Japanese beetles, they fly out, and they can, and the grasshoppers, but they don't suffer for very long, I guess is the best way I can say it. And it's so much better than any kind of pesticides. And I have talked to so many people about options when it comes to grasshoppers, and I haven't gotten any solutions other than to use, things that will kill not only the grasshoppers, but everything around it. And like you could see, I can see them. Like, look at this grasshopper right over there. I'm not going to catch this one right now, but see it? I will catch it here. And what I find with grasshoppers, they stay in one place for a bit, so that it is fairly easy to catch them. Here's another one. I can see it down in, and they come in all shapes and sizes, to be sure. Do you see any, Loon? Huh? But it's just doing a sweep of the garden on a regular basis. I want to say 4 or 5 times a day. I have more time now. I'm semi-retired. So, but this is the kind of stuff that they do, the damage that they cause. And I know that I know some people who have just given up and said, forget it, and let them destroy it. But one of the things that we did is that over the course of the last couple of years, when we realized they weren't going away, it wasn't just a 1-year phenomenon with these grasshoppers, we put this metal fence up all around our garden to help keep them out. And it's tremendous how much it's helped, because we have such a massive grasshopper problem. I'm going to show you here too. Let's see if he's around. Yeah, he is. These are a couple of the things. This is Gus. He is a little toad that helps in my process here. He's been hanging out here all summer, and he loves grasshoppers. So I love him because he loves grasshoppers. And like I said, between him and we have, a couple of gardener snakes and things like of those nature. But I wanted to come out here into the big field. I keep this gate closed, and as you see, we have mesh on the gate as well to help keep the grasshoppers out. This is what the fence looks like from the outside. But we live on a couple of acres, and let's see if I walk through here, you can see the grasshoppers jumping. There's so many, and I've tried to come out here with nets. I've tried a little thing. Actually, I have some buckets coming in the mail today that I thought maybe I'd put soapy water in and walk with them. But you can see how they've just killed the grass in our field so badly. And yeah, so the best thing for us to do is just to put these fences up and then, catch them inside the fence as we need to, and pray that one of these days they'll go away. But I won't spray them. I won't use any kind of pesticides. Hey, you got left inside. All right, Luna went on. Yeah, so I just won't use any pesticides in my garden because of the bees and the birds. We have several ponds that bring the birds into the garden, and don't want to do that. I'd rather give up gardening altogether than to put the nasty sprays. I went to a garden center once and asked them. They gave me something. They said, "Oh, this will work." And then, in fact, as I was doing more research when I got home, yeah, it just killed the ground worms. The worms. It killed the worms. Now this bed, I can see them moving, and that's the other thing. I've become quite a grasshopper catcher. Look at these coneflowers I just got the other day. Aren't they just gorgeous? And that's what I'm not willing to do, is just to give up this time and the bees and the beauty of the garden. So my wish and my hope as I walk you through this garden today is that you find peace, even with the things that bug you, like bugs, because it's so worth it in the long run. Here's my she shed looking this way into it. Let me walk over here. Yeah, there it is, which is just a lovely, lovely. It was a little shed, and I've just taken all my things that I love and put it into this, and it's a great place to have it, especially the little tchotchke things you have along your way that you don't know what to do with. What was I going to, I was going to show you one more thing about so the other thing is, and I haven't seen any, is the Japanese beetles. They're just little beetles. I did a short on it, which I'll put a link over to the short there they are right now. So here we go. Here are the Japanese beetles. I remember years ago seeing them for the first time. I want to go get my catcher. They're pretty easy to catch. They're docile. Sometimes they will fly off, but I just did a short about them. But that's what they do. This is the damage that they cause to the plants. This grapevine, they have just decimated it. The grapes, they're not interested in. It's just that they like thin, layered leaves, is what those Japanese beetles like. They don't seem to be too interested in the tomatoes. These are our tomatoes, but look at this. Look at the damage here on this eggplant. The eggplant seems to be fine, but we have little tiny grasshoppers this year that have definitely done some damage. But the tomatoes are staying hardy. Got a little of that blossom end rot going on, but we're working on that. And yeah, it's funny as I walk around here thinking of all the things that this yarrow is doing really good, but it needs to be cut back. And this is the kind of thing you look for, right? Look at these grasshoppers right here. And again, if they're left for days on end, they will just eat a plant so that it's not there anymore. So these are some that, and this is what I deal with. My little redbird plant, like little redbirds. Aren't they cute? All right, I think I will leave it at that for now. But, you know, as you can see, there's the wasps up there and the bees and everything, and it all just makes it all work well together. Show you my zinnias here. I put the zinnia, this used to be all zinnia bed, and I've gotten into so much into tomatoes over the last couple of years that, but I do have this row of zinnias, both the, that's the Thumbelina and Persian carpet, and then Thumbelina again. And they are doing pretty good, and knock on whatever, the grasshoppers don't seem to be bugging them here too much. And they don't seem to be bothering. I do catch a grasshopper or two in my tomatoes, but it's more the flowers that they're after. And like this, I can find them in here and amongst the daisies, etc. I need to cut back some of the daisies. And the zinnias, they really love the zinnias. Sad but true. So I think I will leave you. There's the 5-gallon bucket again, my little catch-all. I will leave you with that. Here's my floret flower unicorn zinnias that are just starting to bloom, some cactus zinnias from Botanical Interests. And this is just my wild, I'll show you this really quick. This is my wildflower bed that I just have. Whatever comes up from seeds. There's a lot of larkspur here with I just let them go to seed and just sprinkle them in for maybe even this year or next year. And Mexican sunflower, etc. So much action going on. All right. I hope that you find peace in your garden. Subscribe, comment. I would love to know what bugs might be bugging you and what you do about it. If you've got any other, I'm always looking for suggestions around grasshoppers. But if you have suggestions, please let me know. And until next week, actually we're coming out with 2 videos a week. We're really working towards that. And I have a book review that I'm going to do on atomic habits that follows this video in the week ahead, and just talking about procrastination, because the one thing with the garden, procrastination does not work, because if you just let something go, oh look at what's this is a cricket. I don't mind crickets. I know some people do, but there's a cricket. Speaking of bugs, what do you think, Gus? You think you could get that cricket for me? Anyway, so atomic habits, I'll talk about that, and just procrastination in the garden. Another video coming out this week. And until then, I hope that you are getting outside. Even if it's hot, even if it's smoky like it's been here, it's worth it in the long run. Take good care, my friend. There is a saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And it's these little things, from dealing with bugs and plants that die and all those things in the garden that aren't quite so wonderful, that allows us to enjoy the beauty of our gardens. Thanks for growing with us, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video, and then of course be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.